How does one get a call sign named Hobo?
Looking like a homeless man.
I couldn't handle watching what was happening.
The consequences for the entire world, if Ukraine were to fail, would be absolutely catastrophic.
I worked in aviation. I also instructed firearms, was a competition shooter.
I did 4 years in the U.S. Marines, and I did another 3.5 years in the U.S. Army.
Some of my colleagues from both parties said I was the member for Kyiv Central, not for Filton and Bradley Stoke.
What did you do?
Nothing special, and probably a few things I can't talk about.
You were a member of parliament for well over a decade, and now you're serving with the Ukrainian army. How did this come about?
It was pretty clear to me that it would be probably the toughest election I could fight. So I started to think, well, if the worst were to happen, I'd come to Ukraine, I'd spend a year or two helping out, just doing what I could. And then almost immediately after that initial thought, I thought, well, I'd end up serving in the military, I hoped. So the election came and went. I had a few months to get fit and tidy up all my affairs. And then as soon as I was ready, I applied online to join the International Legion.
What are you doing, if you can tell us, on a daily basis? What is your role here?
I have a variety of focuses. Foreign affairs, bit of diplomacy, foreign relations, procurement, from air defence, which we need a lot more of, to personal kit and equipment. And I'm doing some veterans work.
So you've sort of straddled two worlds, you working in politics, and even before that, you were in the British Army.
I did some time as a reservist and served in Afghanistan, yes.
And do you feel that that gives you some particular insight that maybe someone who's all army or someone who's all politics might have?
I guess I know a bit about how government works, how politics works, and I've done some military service. So I came to Ukraine for the first time for the year anniversary, and going back to the UK and back to politics afterwards, I very much got involved in everything to do with Ukraine, with the defence.
Now, that's the one thing that the UK has always been united on, is their support for Ukraine. Why do you think that is?
Well, I always say I think we have, what happened in the Second World War in 1940 in our DNA. It's within living memory, just when we were alone, fighting for our survival, for our existence as a nation. We were bombed, our cities were bombed. So I think we've always felt an affinity with what the Ukrainian people are facing. And I also think we're a very fair-minded country. What's happening is just so wrong and so evil. Putin's murdering civilians on a nightly basis with the air attacks, committing war crimes, kidnap children. It's just horrific.
I think Russia's chosen the wrong people to fight, you know what I mean? Like, they're just so resilient.
You are, from what I can hear, Australian.
Australian, yes, yes.
And how does one come from halfway across the world here?
Oh, I grew up knowing a few Ukrainians, and I still have Ukrainian friends back in Australia. And I've always known they're a different country compared to Russia, and I just love their culture, and they're just beautiful people. I just couldn't sit back any longer and watch it.
Tell us about your role in the Foreign Legion.
Oh, it's a hard one to crunch. So we come back to Kyiv a bit, and we do a lot of training, do pre-deployment training, and then we get set a new AO. We go out and just get set special tasks to do and things like this. And once that's over, and we just come back to Kyiv, usually a 2-week break, maybe some courses, and and then we go back.
And are you dealing with drones or larger things, or?
No, I'm just infantry, so just me and a small team.
Where are you from?
I'm from America, lived in Colorado for 18 years, but now I call Ukraine my home. I originally enlisted to be simply a combat medic, and now I've done much more than simply that. I believe in the future I'll be pursuing drones, but honest to God, I'm here to do whatever is needed.
And looking back to before you came here, I mean, how did that decision come about?
I was one of the few people who anticipated that Russia would invade Ukraine before the full-scale invasion. As a result, knowing or being rather convinced that this would be the case, I started to question what I would do in response. Initially, I was a volunteer, simply making supply trips to and from Ukraine, and that solidified my desire to do more.
So you came out here, and through those volunteering stints, you began to understand more about the country and the landscape.
My very first time in Ukraine was March 6, 2022. And of course, during that time, that was perhaps the largest humanitarian crisis since World War II, where so many women and children were fleeing Ukraine for the safety of Europe and other countries. And so experiencing that, or being a witness to that, had a profound effect on who I am today.
Originally, I'm from Florida, but the last few years, I can kind of say I lived in New York. I haven't actually been to the US since September of 2022, so I'm not really sure if I live there anymore. A few of the guys that I served with from the US Marines, they had already gotten here in March of 2022, and I was like, playing with the idea, like, do I really want to go there? Do I not want to go there? And then next thing you know, like, oh yeah, man, we're fighting, we're winning too. Like, cool. Do you need help? Oh, next thing I know, I'm on a plane, landing in Warsaw, and here I am now.
So you have a military background.
Yes. I did 4 years in the US Marines as a radio operator, and then I did another 3.5 years in the US Army as a scout.
And do you think that that prepared you for Ukraine?
Everybody likes to think they're prepared, and then you're actually getting World War I, World War II, and Vietnam tactics with today's technology, and it's very, very frightening, as is. And it makes it worse is that it's constantly evolving for both sides.
Tell us a little bit about your role with the Legion.
Currently right now, I'm on a direct action team, commonly known as a SALT team.
What is your area of expertise, would you say?
Machine guns, explosives, and just a regular rifleman.
This is the front line for European and Western freedom. You cannot change borders by force. You can't march into somebody else's country and try and take it over.
Do you think that there are similarities that we're in now that we have seen in the past? People often say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Well, you have to learn the lessons from it. And the lessons are appeasement doesn't work, invasions can't be negotiated away, and you have to deter and defeat dictators. Everybody wants the war to end, but you can have peace by surrendering any time. It has to be a just peace, and a peace where Ukraine remains in a position to be in control of its own destiny, have alliances with who it wants, have an army the size it wants, join NATO if it's able to do so, join the EU.
From your point of view on the ground, what kind of security guarantees does Ukraine need?
Ukraine are fighting our battles here, actually. There needs to be a guarantee of some sort that if Putin were to try and move across wherever the borders end up again, that he will face not just Ukraine, but the full force of the European nations and even the United States. Putin is a liar. We know that. He lied over Chechnya, over Georgia, over Syria, and the peace accords which were made after the annexation of Crimea. So he can't be relied upon. I wouldn't trust anything he said or signed up to.
What are some of the biggest challenges right now, however, on the battlefield?
Challenges, probably the optical fiber drones, and just, it gets worse and worse because the Russians are just adapting, and same as we're just got to keep adapting. Technology's coming into play, things get a lot harder, so it's just a constant, readaptation to try and keep up.
What would you advise people who are thinking of coming out here?
Yeah, I think if you've got the means and the will to do it, I suggest it's really good. You will find your family here, you will find your friends, and anyone who has any previous military background and things like that, if you have the chance to come here, the boys need support.
Do you have a military background?
No, I don't, no.
What inspired you to come out here?
I know in my heart I can do it. I wanted to join the military when I was younger, but I broke my femur, and because it was classed as a trauma incident, they declined my application.
Are you a good soldier, you think?
I give it my best.
Can you tell us about some of the places that you've served over the last few years?
Yes, I started off in the Kharkiv offensive, where we pushed the lines all the way into Luhansk. So I served in Kharkiv Oblast in 2022, Luhansk Oblast 2022. We stayed there until summer of 2023, and then we pushed south towards Bakhmut. So I served in the Donbass. And after that, in 2024, I went to Zaporizhia. And just recently, we were up north in the Sumy Oblast.
So you've really done and seen it all.
It's never pleasant. You see villages that were easily, at one point, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then within a few days or even a few weeks, they're completely decimated. And you just see people's homes just gone, memories destroyed, and you never enjoy seeing that.
Does the battlefield feel different now than it did 3 years ago?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Back in the early days, you could walk across open fields, and the biggest thing you had to worry about was artillery. Some areas, artillery rates have not changed, and other areas, they've drastically dropped. But nowadays, you're more scared about hearing a drone than anything else, just because of what it implies. Someone's seeing you, they can easily target your location, they can spot any of the movements, and you never know what kind of flavor explosive you're gonna get.
You say you're going to be getting involved in drone warfare, but that is a field that's changing daily sometimes.
Technology just evolves and evolves. Over the last year, we've seen fiber optics become the standard, if you will, of first-person view kamikaze drones. And that will continue. Those evolutions in technology will continue, but the foundation remains. You'll always need to see the target, identify the target, and engage the target. How we do that is going to evolve, but the standards never change.
Do you think that people in the United States understand what's at stake in Ukraine?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, I'm not sure what to think. If we are the bastions of freedom and democracy in this world, why don't we act like it?
What would be your message to people back in the United States who maybe don't understand that?
Crack open a history book. They need to look at what happened in the 30s that ultimately resulted in America sacrificing its sons and daughters. This is world-altering history, and simply standing on the sidelines watching it happen does not absolve you of the responsibility you have to end the evil where evil is most obvious.
Do you feel that this is sort of your duty then, not only as an American, but as a person of the free world?
I would say merely as a human being, it is my duty. And for that reason alone, of course, I would support Ukraine and aid Ukraine, but I've also come to love Ukraine.
Do you think there should be a UK presence here in Ukraine?
After the war, for sure, yeah, absolutely. And European, not just UK. You know, the best way to avoid future conflict is by a demonstration of strength and an understanding on their side that it won't be accepted or tolerated if you were even to start to make preparations again. The cost he would have to pay would be too high.
Have you come across a lot of people from the UK here?
A few, yeah, quite a few.
And what is that like to see your fellow countrymen
It's
here?
great.
Yeah.
We all know why we're here. We instinctively know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And we're here to help. I met a guy who turned up from the southwest of England when I first got here. He was older than I was, believe it or not. And I said, well, what job are you doing? And he said, well, I used to be a storeman in the British Army for years, and I'm coming out and I'm going to do that.
Why do you think these people come? I mean,
Because they know how important it is to our collective security, but actually, morally, it's the right thing to do. What's happened here is terrible.
what's next for you?
Next for me, just if this war ends, I'll go back to Australia. I'll get back into mining and cutting my gemstones. I miss my freedom back there in the way of to go, in the middle of nowhere and look for gemstones.
Do you recognize the person that you were before you came out here?
I think he's still there. Yeah. My mother tells me thinks I'm more happy here than what I was back home previous. Not that I was depressed at home or I, came here because I had nothing going on, but
Yeah.
I just felt it inside. I had to come. I'd like to get a place here in Ukraine one day and just travel between both worlds.
Where do you think the future is going to take you?
Honestly, I don't know that question anymore. Originally I came here, I said, I'm only gonna be here for 1 year. And almost 3 years later, I'm still here. So maybe one day I'll just say, I'm tired and I just want to go home. Or maybe I'll just keep fighting.
Do you think that leaders in the West would benefit by understanding what's happening more on the front lines?
Absolutely, absolutely. They can learn so much about what's currently happening in this war, ranging from electronic warfare to reconnaissance to just basic old school doctrine of how to dig a trench and what works, what doesn't work, and modern conventional warfare.
And what would you say to guys who are thinking of coming out here?
It has to be a commitment. You have to be all in or not at all. So many people come and waste their time and resources on just a little bit and then go home. In many ways, simply using the funds that you would spend on some sort of trip to help organizations, to help UNITED24, for example, will be so much more better spent.
And how long will you stay here?
Probably forever. I think I'll die here one way or another.